24 years in her father's prison. The spine-chilling story of Elisabeth Fritzl. While the mere idea of being confined to a small space is spine-chilling, the case we are about to discuss goes way deeper into this terrifying world. On April 26, 2008, the town of Amstetten, Austria, was shocked to see Elisabeth Fritzl appear in the hospital, and was even more shocked to see her 19-year-old daughter after she'd been missing for years. When Elisabeth told local authorities about her 24 years of captivity, being confined to a makeshift cellar and repeatedly tortured at the hands of her own father, Josef Fritzl, left everyone nothing but horrified. Born in Austria to Josef and Rosemary Fritzl on April 6, 1966, Elisabeth was one of the 7 children the couple had. At the age of 11, Fritzl started abusing Elisabeth. To save herself from her father, she ran away from home in January 1983. She went into hiding in Vienna, but was found by police in 3 weeks and returned to her parents. She rejoined the serving course she had started and was eventually offered a job after graduating. On August 28, 1984, her father asked 18-year-old Elisabeth to help him carry a door into the basement of the family home. What she didn't know was that this door was going to be the seal for what would be her place of captivity for the next 24 years. As Elisabeth held the door open for Josef, he knocked her out by holding an ether-soaked towel on her face until she fell unconscious. He threw her into the chamber after this. She wouldn't see the outside world for the next 2 decades. After her daughter's disappearance, Rosemary filed a missing persons report. 1 month into the investigation, Fritzl gave a letter to the police, which he had claimed was written and sent by Elisabeth. This letter was one of several he forced Elisabeth to write while being held captive. According to the letter, Elisabeth was tired of living with her family and ran away, not wanting her parents to look for her. Josef convinced the authorities that Elisabeth had joined a religious cult she talked about as a child. He pretended as if he didn't know where she was, about 20 feet below where the officer was standing. If you already feel petrified, hold on to your seat. It gets darker. With time, the investigation went cold, and the world forgot about the missing girl. But Fritzl did not. For years to follow, he visited Elisabeth almost every day, or a minimum of 3 times a week. He would bring food and other supplies. According to his sister-in-law Christine, he visited the basement every morning at 9 a.m., under the pretext of drawing plans for the machines he sold. He would often stay there the whole night. He wouldn't allow anyone to come down. It might sound shady, but his wife thought he was just a hard-working person who didn't want to be disturbed whilst working. As they say, people can be very manipulative in the world outside. To the tenants living in a ground floor room, he explained the noises coming from the basement as faulty pipes or a gas heating system. To no one's surprise, they believed him. This concealed cellar he built around 1981 or 1982 had a 5-meter-long corridor and just 55-meter squared area. It had a storage area, cooking and bathroom facilities connected by narrow passageways. The cellar also had a television, radio, and video player. Food could be cooked and stored. It had only 2 access points. One was a 500-kilogram hinged door, and the other was a metal one. The only entrance accessible over time was hidden behind a shelf in his basement workshop, protected by an electronic code. In order to reach this door, one had to cross 5 locked basement checkpoints. To get to the area Elisabeth was held captive, a total of 8 doors needed to be unlocked. Each door was secured by an additional locking system. I'm sure there are actual prisons out there that have way less security than this. But these measures Fritzl took to keep his secret hidden is exactly what makes this case even more sickening. For the first 2 years, Fritzl left her alone in the captivity. Sometimes he chained her, while at times he left her free in the cell. Then he started doing something even more horrific. For years, he would come down every night, force her to watch adult films, and sexually abuse her repeatedly. He would force her to reenact them in a soundproof room he constructed in the basement. He kept abusing her, starting at the age of just 11. After 2 years into captivity, Elisabeth became pregnant, but miscarried 10 weeks into it. 2 years later, she would fall pregnant again and ended up giving birth in August 1988 to a baby girl named Kirsten. After 2 more years, another baby was born, a boy named Stefan. But Fritzl's hideous actions didn't stop there. Over the next 24 years, Elisabeth gave birth to 5 more children. She taught them how to read and write with whatever rudimentary education she herself had. One of the newborns died shortly after birth, and the body was allegedly incinerated by Fritzl. 3 children, Lisa, Monica, and Alexander, were removed from the cellar and taken upstairs to live with Rosemary. Shockingly, he somehow convinced the local service authorities too. He told them that the 3 infants were left by Elisabeth on the doorstep, each time with a letter requesting for the kids to be taken care of. After the 4th child was born in 1994, Fritzl allowed enlargement of the chamber. He made Elisabeth and her children dig the soil with their bare hands for years. To torture her and her children even further, Fritzl would shut the lights out and wouldn't deliver food for days as punishment. He warned that he would gas them if they ever tried to escape. They would receive an electric shock if they tried meddling with the cellar door. Reportedly, he would show the captive children pictures of children living upstairs or playing outside in the sun as psychological torture. It's impossible for me to even imagine the trauma everyone locked down there must have gone through. It is unknown for how long Josef intended to keep them captive, but in 2008, Elisabeth's 19-year-old daughter Kirsten fell ill. After Elisabeth begged her father to let Kirsten get medical attention, Josef agreed to take her to a hospital. At the hospital, he claimed he had received Kirsten's mother's note explaining her condition. For a week, the police tried asking the public for any information about her family. Eventually, when their suspicion grew, they reopened the case of Elisabeth's disappearance. They supposedly started seeing inconsistencies in the letters Fritzl turned up with. Letters looked dictated and forcefully written. On April 26, 2008, Josef finally succumbed to the pressure and released Elisabeth for the first time in 24 years. She immediately went to the hospital, and the police was alerted by the hospital staff. That same night, she was taken into custody to be questioned, after being promised she would never see her monster father again. Elisabeth Fritzl told the police the nightmarish tale of her years-long imprisonment and torturous past. Josef was arrested the same night. After the arrest, the children in the cellar were rescued. A local policeman involved in that case said he remembers the moment as Felix pressing his nose on the car window and just looking at the stars, looking at the light. For the first time in his life, he was seeing the stars.
and he was just quiet,
pressing his nose against the car window and being astounded by everything. Let's take a moment to be thankful for everything all of us are blessed with, but we never truly understand. Rosemary apparently knew nothing about the events happening right under her feet and fled the home. On April 29th, DNA evidence confirmed Fritzl as the biological father of all 7 children. During the trial, the defense counsel insisted that Fritzl was not a monster, as he brought a Christmas tree down for his captives. Ugh, the audacity. While watching 11 hours of Elisabeth's record testimony, jurors are said to be harrowed by it. 8 of them could not watch more than 2 hours of it at a time. Besides the testimony, Elisabeth's older brother, Harold, also came forward to reveal his abuse by Josef as a child. On March 18, 2009, Elisabeth attended the second day of the criminal trial in disguise. Josef recognized her in the court and went pale. He broke down and eventually changed his plea to guilty on all charges. On March 19th, after a 4-day-long trial, Josef pleaded guilty to charges of murder, enslavement, sexual abuse, coercion, and false imprisonment. And the moment we've all been waiting for, he was finally sentenced to life imprisonment. Frankly, with the amount of pain he caused, it might not even feel sufficient. But let's leave it to the judicial system to decide. After the trial, Elisabeth and all her children were taken into care. They started receiving medical and psychological treatment. Today, all of them live with a new identity in a secret Austrian village known just by the name Village X. The family lives in a home which is under constant CCTV surveillance and police patrol. They don't allow any interviews, and Elisabeth is now in her mid-50s. So we wish them a happy and calm life ahead. According to an article published in March 2010, Elisabeth and her children have recovered well from their past. According to a local restaurant owner, the family is doing more than fine and is very polite and happy. In May 2017, Josef Fritzl changed his name to Josef Meerhoff. A British journalist interviewed him in prison, and he said that he showed absolutely no remorse of his actions. Did we expect any? In fact, he told the journalist something which will truly take a moment for you to recover from. He said, "Just look into the cellars of other people. You might find other families and girls down there." Ugh, thank God it was life imprisonment. Whew. So, were you able to wrap your head around it? Or will it give you a sleepless night? Let us know in the comments section below.
Enjoyed this video? Hit like, share, and subscribe to Curiosity. Wait, why not fulfill your curiosity by watching these other awesome videos? Go ahead, choose the left or the right video and enjoy.